All right, guys. So here we go. Now we're finally gonna start. So this is ambiguous case. I wasn't actually going to go over this, but I felt like compelled to go over it because this question does come out on like math placement exams. So I was like, you know what? Let me just do it. So here's the triangle, and they're showing you that. Notice that you have 80 and 50 with a 26-degree angle, and look at the two different types of triangles you can have. So imagine this is like, what do you want to call this? Like a pivot? So this is like a pivot. So you can see here, this is why you can have two different types of triangle, because they can land either there or there. So what we're going to do today, we're going to figure out what this length is of this triangle, the long segment, and we're going to figure out what this length is. And I know it says long segment there. That's because that line there. So we're going to figure out those two lengths. You know what I mean, guys? All right. So I have here, it says example 1 in triangle XYZ. X is 50, Z is 80, and angle X is 26. Find the possible length of side Y. So they're talking about these two triangles here, guys. 80 and 50, and there's a 26. So they're talking about this segment. See? So because the 26 degrees is all we have to put the 50, we're going to use law of cosines, and we're going to have to put the 50 on the outside. It's going to be by itself. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Law of cosines? So here we go. We're going to write 50 squared equals 80 squared plus y squared minus 2 times 80 times y cosine 26 degrees. That's it. That's pretty much it. You're done. Now, how do I solve that? No, really, guys. That's it. How do I solve it, though? All right. When you were in Algebra 2, what did your teacher tell you about solving quadratic expressions? There's a quadratic. I see a y squared. It doesn't have to be x squared. So if you had this, 0 equals ax squared plus bx plus c, one way is either factor it or use a quadratic equation. X equals negative b plus minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Do you guys remember that? So it's the same thing with this, guys. It's the same thing with this. It doesn't have to be an x. It could be a y. So this is just a side note. You're going to do 0 equals ay squared plus by plus c, where y is going to equal negative b plus minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to move that 50 squared to the right. So here we go. I'm going to move that 50 squared to the right. So I'm going to write it like this. 0 equals y squared. And I guess since I put a plus there, I'm going to say plus negative 2 times 80 times cosine 26 degrees y plus 80 squared minus 50 squared, where a is 1, b is negative 2 times 80 times cosine 26 degrees, and c is 80 squared minus 50 squared. See? And then all I'm going to do is just use the formula, guys. So I'm going to go to my calculator. Make sure your calculator is in degree mode. Here's my calculator. It says degree on mine, but on yours you're probably going to have to push mode. A is 1, but if you want to push 1 for A, just go 1 store alpha A. So now every time I push A, it's going to be 1. See what I did there, guys? So what was B again? Negative 2 times what? 80. Cosine of what? 26. So there it is, and I'm going to store it to B. So every time I push B, it's going to be that number, negative 143. And then C was 80 squared. Oh, you're good, miss, you're good. 80 squared minus 50 squared. And I'm going to store that to C. There it is. And all I'm going to do is just use the quadratic equation, guys. So I'm going to push alpha y equals, enter, and I'm just going to type it in. Negative b. I'm going to do the plus one first. Plus square root of alpha b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. You don't even need to type a because a is just 1, but I went ahead and did it. And there it is. There's one answer, guys. 107.54222. Centimeters. I need another one. Instead of a plus, I'm going to put what? So I'm just going to scroll up, push enter, and then just change the plus to a minus. Minus. And there it is, 36.2648. 36.2648. Delta's not going to ask you to do that. I mean, I probably could find them, but just keep a lookout for these type of questions if you ever get an ambiguous case on a math placement at the exam or something like that. You know what I mean? Okay. All right. Now we're just going to do easy problems. So let's go to the next page. And it says, in triangle DEF, little e is 150, little f is 910, and angle D is 161. So not to scale. And then just draw a triangle. DEF. So let's see. Angle D is 161. Little e is 150. So if here's angle E, this is one little e, 150 inches. And little f is 910 inches. Find angle F to the nearest degree. Okay. If I want angle F, I need to figure out little d. Does that make sense, guys? So here's a two-stepper. In order for me to figure out little d, I have to use law of cosines. Everything's already perfectly set up for you. So I'm going to write d squared equals 910 squared plus 150 squared minus 2 times 910 times 150 cosine 161. And then to get d by itself, you take the square root of that. D equals the square root of all that. Just type it again. All right, here we go. Take my calculator and go, I'm going to clear this. Second square root. And let's see if I remember. 910 squared plus, I already forgot it. Was it 150? 150 squared minus 2 times 910 times 150. And what was the cosine? Cosine of what? 161. Push enter, and did you guys get that number? You guys didn't get that number? Oh, you did? Okay, so store that. I'm going to store that to D. Alpha D. We're going to need it. All right, let's see. So now we got that. It was 1052.960. We'll truncate it. But you're gonna use the answer in your calculator, right? All right. So now that we got that, now we can figure out sine f. You're gonna use law of sines. So we're gonna go sine 161 degrees over 1052.960 equals, that's a 1 there, sine f over 910. So when you cross multiply, here's what you get. You're going to get sine f equals 910 sine 161 degrees divided by 1052.960 960. So to get f by itself, you do the inverse, guys, of all this. You can also put it in decimal, doesn't matter. So here we go. I take my calculator. I go arc sine. I push a little alpha thing, push the little fraction, and I'm going to type that fraction in. And I already forgot it. 910 sine 161. 910 sine 161 divided by d, alpha d. And here we go. Enter. 16.341. Remember that it could also be 180 minus 16, but it can't because of the 161. 180 minus 16 is like 170, 164, 160. Yeah, so 164 plus 161 is above 180. But so it's just that one. You know what I mean, guys? And there it is. That's it. Did they want me to round to the nearest degree? Okay, so I would have gotten it wrong. 16 degrees. Oh, that's a cute smiley face. Oh, yeah. Okay, that was dumb. I'm not going to do that again. Sorry, guys. All right, last one. This one's very popular. I don't know if, yeah, I guess this one could pop up in an SAT exam or math placement exam. Last one, guys. I know you guys are tired. So here we go. Triangle SYZ, angle X is 57 degrees, angle Y is 53 degrees. Perfect, thank you. Triangle XWZ is 90, so that means this is also 90 degrees right here. Find the length of XW to the nearest tenth. So they want this guy. So let's see. What we're going to do first. What are we going to do first? You need to figure out the hypotenuse of this green triangle. Do you guys see that green triangle? You need to figure out either the hypotenuse or that vertical height. But the vertical height I'm not going to do, guys, because I see that 470. So what I'm thinking is you probably got to find these angles up here. Do you guys see those angles? So remember, in a triangle, all three angles must add up to 180. So go 90 plus 57. 90 plus 57. And then subtract that from 180. 180 minus 147. And we get 33 degrees. So this guy right here is 33. And I need the other one now. So 90 plus 53. 90 plus 53. And we get 143. And then subtract that from 180. And 37 degrees. You probably didn't need a calculator if you thought about it. So there it is. So now I'm going to do, what did I say I was going to do? Law of sines, yeah, because I need the hypotenuse. So I'm going to go 37 plus 33, all this together, 30, that's 70 degrees. Does that make sense to you guys? Okay, so there it is. So I'm going to go sine 70 degrees over that 70 degrees created that 470 equals, and I need the hypotenuse of that green triangle, so I'm going to go sine 53 degrees over, and if you want to call that little y, and just solve for little y, guys. So little y is equal to 470 sine 53 degrees divided by sine 70 degrees. So I'm going to type that into my calculator. So here we go. Excuse me. 470 sine, and I already forgot, sine 53 divided by sine 70. This is my y value. Store it into y. Alpha y. So there it is. Little y is 399.448. Little y is 399.448. Okay, now that I know that, I think Delta likes to use law of sines again. I'm not going to use law of sines. I'm going to do this. With respect to the 57 degrees, is this question mark opposite, adjacent, or hypotenuse? adjacent. And then the hypotenuse is the hypotenuse. Which one uses adjacent or hypotenuse? Sine, cosine, or tangent? Cosine. So you're just going to go cosine of 57 degrees is equal to adjacent, which is the xw, divided by the hypotenuse, which is the 399.448. So if you want the length xw, usually they put a segment on top to indicate xw. So if you want your segment xw, all you're going to do is multiply. So 399.448 cosine 57. You can do law of sines again, like delta does it. No big deal, but I think this is easier. So I'm just going to go alpha y cosine 57. And there it is, 217.555. And then I just, what do they want? Nearest tenth. So nearest tenth, that's this decimal place. So 217.6. And then another happy face. Yay! He has a crazy hairstyle. And what'd you guys think? Was that pretty basic? Yeah, guys. So take care of your delta. That's it. You got an hour and 10 minutes, which I think is more than enough time. And if you have questions, let me know.